Hey, what is up, my guys? So today we're going to be going over Riftbound versus Gundam investing. This has been something I've been asked frequently about why I'm parking my money in Riftbound versus Gundam, or even things like Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, and all that stuff. But when it comes to TCGs, there's kind of like, the average tier ranking of where games are. You have your Grails, your S tier, your Gold, your Bitcoin. That's your Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. Those are the kings. Those will never really be taken down. And if you go a little bit lower than that, you have One Piece. Some might still consider Yu-Gi-Oh top there, but this is an investment or just collecting. Up until recently, Yu-Gi-Oh definitely fell way down the charts until they did their overframes. So it's very difficult to compare them to um, One Piece, who've been doing great. And then you have I would say your next level down. This would be your Riftbound, your Lorcana, and your Gundam. One of the big questions people are asking lately is the Riftbound versus Gundam. So I think it's kind of important that maybe we do a little comparison to see, is this a good idea, and maybe give you guys a little insight into why I'm personally doing this. Um, we're going to go over a couple topics, the basics, the IP, the numbers, and then our finisher. So, the basics. This is Riftbound versus Gundam card game. We'll start with Riftbound. Owner, Riot Games. Distribution, UVS. Publishing is Shining Soul Publishing out of China. Um, they do 4 mainline sets a year, like most TCGs. How they operate is an area control and rune deck economy. Then you have Gundam, you have owner, distribution, and publishing all Bandai, so it's extreme vertical integration for that. Same idea. It's your 4 mainline sets a year. And in Gundam, you have the unit pilot pairing and a base destruction. So let's go a little more in depth. Let's start with the IP, Riftbound. This is you know League of Legends game. This is the first jump into TCG. League of Legends launched 17 years ago. I've been playing it for 13 of the 2012. So yeah, 14 of those years now. There's 173 playable champs in the game, but you have about over 1,200 different skins, probably way more than that. And it creates different lot of lore between that. You have different skin lines that create different lore structures and universes. Riot Games valuation is about 21 billion, and this is across all of their games. That would include League of Legends, Wild Rift, Teamfight Tactics. I forget what their shooter is off the top of my head. This is a lot of things. Let's go back to League of Legends alone. League pulls in 1.65 to 1.8 billion dollars a year just from skin revenue. So there is this running theory in Riftbound where it's called the skin theory, where it's assuming the game's playable and people love playing it, the skin theory kicks in where people with money are going to spend money on high rarities because they just kind of want to flex on people. This isn't just limited to Riftbound. We see this in games like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon. Some people will use IRs or maybe even SIR in their deck. Like, this isn't just limited to there, but it's definitely something that's very prevalent in League of Legends itself. So they just call it the skin theory. um Daily active users is 30 to 40 million users, and this is across all regions, a lot of coming from China, Korea, North America, and then Europe. I mean, this is a very global game. Then we have such things as their Arcane IP. Across both seasons, this TV show won 8 Primetime Emmy Awards, 16 Annie Awards, and 1 Game Award for Best Adaptation. Some other games, like I said, Teamfight Tactics, I've referred to it as TFT, that's what I mean, and then Wild Rift. So League of Legends is a very broad IP, and it has a lot going for it. But that's not to say that Gundam doesn't have the same. This has been going on for 47 years. April 7th, 1979 was the first ever debut of the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. They've done 50 different television series, movies, and original video animations. When I talk about lead characters, and there's only 173, but there's a ton of skins. This is part of me trying to do my due diligence on Gundam, because a lot of people just don't know this information. But there's over 1,000 different mobile suits, and it's spread across multiple different universes within the Gundam franchise. So this is a very diverse thing as well. lifetime franchise revenue, they're estimating about 26 billion. This is the 15th highest grossing media franchise globally. You can assume that, Pokemon is number one. Then you have things up there like Hello Kitty, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto. Like there's a lot of different franchises up there for highest grossing. Then annual IP revenue is Bandai's highest, which shocks a lot of people, especially because we're Western, so we don't see a lot of this. But it is huge over in Asia. The model making, kit designs, the streaming of some of their shows and their games. This is a moneymaker. This isn't just like, it might be less known. Like I said, it's less known over in America, but this is massive when it comes to the East. So I just want that to be known that, just because we're only seeing a little bit now, um, this isn't just like some small IP. Gundam is massive. And then 2027, they expected to have a new film for it. And it's Sydney Sweeney and Gundam. I mean, let's just put it real. They're cooking with this. Maybe this is going well in their favor, in my opinion. But let's start with the numbers. Like that's why you guys came here, is trying to break down. So let's go set for set. Origin's the first set. New Type Rising's the first set for GDO. I feel like this would be a great comparison. They released about 3 months apart. Currently, Origins is sitting at about 305, and you have the current price of GDO 1 sitting about 459. The supply for both those, it's rather thin when you look at it. Current supply for Riftbound's 91, current supply for GDO 1's 73. But let's talk about the yearly sales. And let's talk about this comparison. 9,111 versus 4,396. It is over double the amount of sales for one booster box compared to the other. Yet the current supply is within 20 of each other. So I'm going to take a step back. Okay, let's look at the actual chart. Like, what do we see? Yes, here's coming from the numbers. We've actually had a couple more sales since when I opened it about them. You can see GO1, steady climb. I mean, you could have been buying this at 145 in January and you could have tripled your money. Like, this isn't when me making this video as a Riftbound investor, I'm not to say that this is a bad place to put your money. I could have tripled my money in that time, but you can see that the demand is slowing down as the price rises. So in the monthly, we're seeing days of no sales. We're seeing days of 1, 2, maybe 4. We had one great day of 9 sales. Then we go over to Origins. We had 1 reprint, 2 reprints, massive reprint with Unleashed. But we go to the month, yeah, we're gaining on the month over almost $100, but we're still seeing days of 24 sales, 18 sales, 29. We're seeing massive amounts. Today alone, 7. That almost beats the best day alone for New Type Rising, and this is the worst day it's had in the month. So when we see the current quantity at 101, minus these, here's 12 alone is the Chinese, 6, 7. So this is going to be around 80 supply. It's very close to the supply left for New Type Rising. So overall, I mean, if this sold amount continues, it's going to go to zero very fast, or more people are going to enter the market as this price just keeps climbing. So that just tells me that the liquidity there is much higher for this stuff when it comes to at least these two sets. Now jumping back over to another one. So this is Spirit Forge versus GDO3. The reason I skipped GDO2, let's pick a little bit better of a set from what my knowledge is. Someone might tell me otherwise, that GDO2 is actually better than 1 or 3. But the other thing is they're closer in date of release, about 2 weeks apart. So for this one, Riftbound's sitting at 230, and we have GDO3 sitting about 118. Current supply, they're about the same. Yearly sales, about 2,000 more for 2,400 more for Spirit Forge, and then we go to monthly sales, over 3 times more. We could hit 4 times more by the end. So then let's go here. Okay, let's see our monthly. We're having amazing sales again. 46. This price has been climbing from about 140. You could get a 50% gain in a month time frame. And then we go over to Steel Steel Requiem GDO3 in a month, the box has gone from 107 to 117. That's a $10 gain. Like, let's be honest, I'm not making 10% in some of my stocks in 1 month or cryptocurrency or anything. 10% isn't just some juvenile thing. Pokemon struggles to make 10% some month. But if we're comparing two different boxes like these two, it is a substantial climb in that, where we see that, where we see this yearly, downtrend, and then all of a sudden liquidity is still there. Though supply is just being chewed up constantly. Where Steel Requiem on a yearly chart, same thing, went down, and it's just recovering so slowly on this chart. Now, I want to be fair when we talk about these types of things. So I think we also need to talk about Vendetta and how that's doing. So this one released literally less than a week ago. We're sitting at 264 once again. 60. We have all these. We have one Chinese listing actually for that, so about 200 left on this one. And give me a second. Let's pull up GDO5 booster box. It's doing better. Like, I know this has been the huge spark lately talking about it, but you could have been picking up this at 168 and now we're sitting at 235 almost. So I don't want to be like, just say like I'm only giving you facts that make Vendetta look good, because the one thing about numbers is they tell a story, but it's the way I interpret those, or at least give the interpretation. I can make it sound one way or the other. But when it comes to, like, if you're comparing a less than sub 1 week old and a 1.5 week old set, yeah, it's winning right now. There's nothing I can say about that. I think if we give it a month or maybe 3 months and we'll see how it pans out, does more supply come to the market? Do we see demand start drying up at these prices? Or do we see demand increasing for both of them? I think this is something that we really need to revisit when it comes time, in a couple months. So I think this is something to watch out. And if someone wants to make an argument that the current set for Gundam is better than Riftbound, I think they can make that. I just think the timeline is too short to make any of those calls. Jumping back into the presentation, is there a clear winner in this race? In my opinion, yes. I'm seeing a lot of more movement and more liquidity on Riftbound. I'm seeing the older sets rising a lot better, and I'm seeing the prices reflect that. Are either a bad investment? I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with there are going to be other things. I mean, Pokemon literally is on a downtrend this entire month, and it's just like, how one big tech stock can suck the other ones down. It's not shocking that we see a downturn on some of these other TCGs. The other topic is this enough information? And I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. No, this is not enough information. I think I need to go a little bit more in depth, and I did spend a lot of time today on that, but I didn't like the numbers. I don't find it very fair when doing my research. So we'll tab out. I was using the Set Explorer for Gundam, and I was recording all these numbers because I was trying to give, like, hey, the top 10 cards, what were their prices, and then go over the PSA 10 prices. And I was like, oh, 1,684 for the top card is the price. And then if you go there, let's click on the TCG player. It's over 1,400 more with an active sale at 2.8K. So this showing me 1.6 is 1,200 off. All the data I was collecting earlier today doesn't reflect a good price of these cards. And the same goes for Riftbound. I was going off the same thing where it's the market price doesn't reflect the actual good price, because there are such few sales on something like this. If you want an example, it would be RE Signature Origins. This would be the good one as well. They're going to go with market price as 2,898, but then we have near mint foil selling for 4,100. So in this case, we're 1,300 off. So I currently have scripts that go through for Pokemon that pull the market price and lowest listed, but Pokemon has so much liquidity where those are actually closer to the recent sale values, where I can get proper figures. Once again, if you start going up into this, had I taken this data point a while ago, this number wouldn't have even appeared because it's got a picture, so it won't even appear on the most recent sale. Pictures don't appear there. like I said, is this enough information? No. There's a lot of other data points I want. What's the PSA 10s? What's the actual spread of the cards? I can easily find the EV of Riftbound, but I can't find the EV of Gundam. So I am missing a lot here. And the one thing about this video is this isn't me trying to tell you ultimately that one thing is better than the other. In my opinion, I do believe there is one. That's why I'm picking Riftbound for myself. But maybe there's things I'm missing. Maybe there's other talking points that I am not realizing because I am blind to the Gundam IP. When I did the research for it, it enlightened me to a lot of things about the IP that I just didn't know. So when it comes to the card game, I think that there's probably more things I'm missing. And that's kind of why I want this to be a conversation where you guys tell me different things I should be looking at. If people do actually want something, I can do a follow-up video where I do go over the singles and the slabs as well. I mainly stick to sealed, but numbers are numbers, and it's great to know why you're investing in a sealed because the underlying asset needs to have value as well. Um, in my last bullet point, only 5 of you that watch my videos are subscribed. So if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button and leaving a comment down below about what you think about these types of videos of comparison, I do want to do another deep dive against why I choose Riftbound against Pokemon and maybe why I choose one against Lurkana. These are a little bit bigger. I fumbled a little today. I spent a couple hours doing all the data points on singles and it didn't work out well, but I still wanted to give you guys a video. So for the time being, peace out and I'll see you next time.